Good afternoon, this is Bob Iaccino coming to you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago, talking energy, talking about crude oil today with a nice midday recovery. Crude oil started the day off lower, but rallied well into the positive. Now lowers relative, of course, we were down less than 0.1%, getting down to a low of about 64.43 and then getting back up above 65 as the day progressed, around 65.30 near the settlement. Looks like we're going to get our first up session in the last four. So that's fairly significant. More significant than that was the effect near the 200-day moving average. The 200-day moving average came in at 64.40 and yesterday's low was 64.90. A lot of traders thought that's a good enough bounce, close enough to that 200-day moving average, but it seemed like crude oil made a new low exactly at the 200-day moving average. 64.44 was that low. Moving average comes, 64.43. Moving average comes in at 64.44. So it really looked like from a technical perspective, the market was just reaching down, confirming that 200-day level as support again, and then rallying back up. And it was a fairly strong rally given the pressure in the initial hours of the session, getting up about 0.5% in toward the close. And then, of course, fundamentally, there was some good news both on the demand side and on the tariff side. If you look 3 weeks from now when the next batch of tariffs are supposed to go in by the U.S. onto China and then China onto the U.S., China would have had to make a decision as to whether they were going to put tariffs on crude oil. So U.S.-China announcing low-level trade talks definitely ease those tariff concerns. We're still on pace for a third down week, and that would be 5 of the last 6 down for crude oil. However, those trade tariff talks, or the trade talks between the U.S. and China, between the Vice Chairman of Commerce and the Undersecretary for International Affairs at the Treasury, David Malpass is his name in the U.S. side, it's a pretty good sign that crude oil could get a little bit of a boost. Now, overall, we're in a weak seasonal period for crude oil, and supply continues to pile on. And really, we've had weaker data overseas, save for the UK this morning, overall in terms of economic data. So that could foster kind of a weakened demand picture for crude oil and keep the pressure to the downside. But we did get an up session today, and the recovery was fairly impressive midday. This is Bob Iaccino talking crude oil from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago.